In this episode of True Crime Black, we look at the disappearance and subsequent death of a young black man. Upon discovering his body, the family of the victim says that the police exhibited odd and suspicious behavior that led to them suspecting a cover-up. When they were told what the final ruling on his cause of death was, they became more certain that the police were not on their side. This is the case of Jelani Day. What is a sundown town? Although the term can mean many different things, it's basically a place that isn't very welcoming to black people. The concept of a sundown town started around the 1890s and continued through the 1940s, and even the 1970s in some places. The racist initiative started as a way to keep freed black citizens from taking white jobs, and extended to housing policies and policing practices. One of the scariest things about sundown towns is that they have gone so far underground that you may be standing in one without even knowing it. For missing black people, that is a reality that may contribute to a lot of their true crime cases. That is especially the case for an Illinois mother. For nearly 3 years now, Carmen Bolden Day has been using her strength and resolve on almost a daily basis. Carmen has been working hard for over 2 years to figure out what happened to her son. Her son, Jelani Day, was a graduate student at Illinois State University. The young man was studying speech pathology and was looking forward to a promising future. Then, he disappeared. Jelani was last seen on campus on August 24, 2021. The next day, Carmen called her son. Typically, when she would call her son, she would always hear from him. Even if he couldn't answer the phone, he would text his mom telling her that he was going to call her back. But on this day, she didn't hear a word from him. That is when Carmen immediately began to worry. During the police investigation, they were able to find a sighting of Jelani on surveillance video. He was seen waiting in line at a marijuana dispensary in Bloomington, Illinois. Continuing with their investigation, the police were able to find Jelani's car the next day. It was found in a wooded area 60 miles away from the college campus. Scattered throughout the area were several personal items that belonged to Jelani. Some of those items included his clothes, which brought about its own level of skepticism. The same hat and shirt that Jelani was seen wearing before he disappeared were found in his car. His shorts, socks, and shoes, however, were found nearly 4 weeks later on the north bank of the Illinois River. 2 students from Jelani's school found the clothes, claiming that they were searching for clues. After they found the clothes, they obtained lawyers and have not spoken to the police. Then, almost 2 weeks after Jelani Day went missing, the police made a startling discovery. A body was seen floating in the Illinois River, not too far from where his car was found. An autopsy was done on the body. The coroner ruled his cause of death a drowning. The police believe that his death was the result of a suicide. Carmen disagrees. She believes that her son was murdered. It's foul play. Absolutely. And somebody's covering up something for somebody, because none of this makes sense, she said. With regard to the belief that there is a cover-up, Carmen has been very vocal about her reasons for feeling that way. For starters, the FBI has been in possession of Jelani's phone this entire time. They claim, though, that they can't unlock it. The police have also told Carmen that they can use the GPS in his car to find out where it had been that day. Unfortunately, they claim that the car is on a lengthy backlog in Quantico. Publicly, the police have come under heavy scrutiny for their handling of the case. More specifically, they have been criticized for the increasingly long time they would take without announcing any updates in the case. That would lead to a lot of negative consequences as far as Jelani Day's case was concerned. Most notably, the LaSalle County coroner had to push back on some of the misinformation that came from the lull in investigative updates in the case. Coroner Rich Plock was part of an interview where he immediately tackled a rumor related to the condition in which Jelani's body was found. One of the rumors that came out in the days following the discovery of the victim's body was that his organs were mysteriously missing. Once that rumor landed on social media, it was almost impossible to stop the ensuing suspicion of what really happened to the young man. But Plock says that never happened. It's unfortunate. Sadly, it's misinformation, Plock said. I do want to say on the record that all of Jelani Day's organs were present at the time that we did the autopsy. Some of them were in a severely decomposed state due to the condition from the several days in the water before recovery. Jelani's family even had to take to Facebook to clarify that there was no truth to the rumor. The post reads, "No organs were missing. I do not want to stray off from the facts. There were contradicting facts from the first preliminary autopsy compared to the second independent autopsy, but this is not a case of organ harvesting." While it is frustrating and counterproductive, some argue that the space from rumors falls at the hands of the authorities. The sentiment is that, since the police have been unable to make any progress in the case, people are left to reach and speculate when they get the opportunity. LaSalle County Police held very few press conferences since discovering Jelani's body on September 23. Radio stations, publications, and news outlets have attempted to contact the department and its attorneys, but have not had a lot of luck. When they did decide to present information to the general public, it was seen by some as a little confusing. At one point, not too long after the discovery of the body, the police department in Peru, Illinois took to Facebook to post a video. The video simply showed a young black man approaching a residence. The post was captioned as saying that the video was related to an ongoing investigation, but never specifically stated whether or not it was Jelani Day's case. It would later turn out that the video was related to Jelani's case when the police ruled out the man in the video as a suspect in his case. While those who sympathize with the frustration in the case are vocal about their support, they are cautioning against the spreading of false information. I know how weird this case looks. I know there's stuff I don't know. There's stuff that has to be kept close to the vest, a student from ISU said at a Bloomington City Council meeting. There's some misinformation surrounding this case. We know that's what's going on. But we have to think about, wow, somebody probably got lynched just 60 miles from here in a sundown town, and we're still masquerading like this town is safe for black folks to live in. Then, in September of 2022, there was a bit of an update on the case. Through the Freedom of Information Act, the Pantagraph, an online publication, requested all emails containing Day's name that were sent to and from LaSalle County officials from October 2021 to August 2022. The publication was able to gain access to documents that contained a list of questions submitted by news organizations. Those organizations received answers to their questions, but those answers were never made public. Some of the information discovered helped to add more detail to the circumstances surrounding Jelani's initial disappearance. The details are as follows. Jelani's car was found by a high school student on his way to work at the Illinois Valley YMCA. His wallet was found by a person searching for their lost drone. His phone was found along Interstate 74 by a driver who had pulled over to secure a load. And his clothes were found by 2 ISU students on the bank of the Illinois River. Sarah Raymond, the deputy chief for the Peru Police Department, was unhappy with the unfiltered release of that information from the email chain. She said, "The Jelani Day Joint Task Force collectively decided that the information contained in that email not be disseminated as it's an integral part of our investigation, which is ongoing." Other messages show the inner workings of law enforcement with regard to how much information they shared and who they shared it with. In one message, Raymond is consulting other law enforcement officials from the Jelani Day Joint Task Force, which includes the LaSalle County Sheriff's Office, the Bloomington, Peru, and LaSalle Police Departments, Illinois State Police, Illinois Attorney General's Office, FBI's Chicago office, and the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit. There was an initial consensus to allow an interview to be conducted with a publication. Then, that was halted. Chief Jamal Symington wrote, "In an effort to ensure we handle this appropriately, I would prefer we have a conference call to discuss before any decision is made." A follow-up email was then sent to Symington asking for a comment on the matter. That email was answered by a Bloomington police spokesman, who said that all questions should be directed to Peru police. The Panagraph sent the email thread to Jelani's mother, Carmen. She expressed that the thread just shows how much Bloomington police were doing to distance themselves from the case. Jamal doesn't want anything put out about this, Carmen said. Bloomington messed up from the beginning. The emails were also able to shed some light on the circumstances surrounding Jelani's phone. In an email that was never given to the reporter who had asked for the information, Raymond wrote that police had run the serial number for Day's phone through a law enforcement database and found it had been sold to an Eco ATM on October 13. Eco ATM is a business, often found in major grocery chains, that operates kiosks where people can sell or recycle smartphones that they come across. Raymond wrote, "An investigation into this took place and found a male had found the phone on the side of Interstate 74 when he had stopped to strap down a load he was losing on his van. He saw that it was a newer iPhone and it was all broken but thought he could get some money for it. He went straight to Walmart and sold it for $89 to the Eco ATM. The police then reached out to the company and learned that they still had the phone. They would then agree to send it to the law enforcement agency and they would pass it along to the FBI for forensic analysis. Frustratingly, they could not unlock the phone due to Apple's software encryption. They would need to know Jelani's password in order to get in fully. Investigators were able to retrieve a tiny bit of data from the phone, but it did not contain information deemed useful in pushing the case along. And then there was Jelani's car. Jelani's 2010 white Chrysler 300 was located in Peru on August 26, 2021. It was found tucked into a wooded area near the parking lot for the Illinois Valley YMCA. Raymond wrote in an email that it appeared there was an attempt to hide the car due to its location. A teenager would end up seeing the car during his walk from La Salle Peru Township High School to the YMCA, according to the documents. Carmen later learned that the student had actually seen his car the day before, but he didn't think it was worth mentioning at first. When he went to work the following day and still saw it in the parking lot, he decided to notify his supervisor. When the police looked at the car, they almost immediately noticed that the license plate had been removed. An investigator used a metal detector to search the area for the plate or any screws, but none were ever located. Then, a young man was searching for his drone in the wooded area when he came across Jelani's wallet. According to Carmen, this story conflicted with what the police told her initially. She says that she was told that a witness reported seeing Jelani throw his own wallet away before walking down a residential street. This claim of contradiction has not been addressed by the police. To their credit, the police have formed what they call the Jelani Day Task Force, which remains active to this day. They are offering a $10,000 reward for information illuminating the final hours of Jelani Day. His mother continues to fight for him as well. "I love him," she said. "I want him to know I'm not going to let people forget about him. I'm going to find out what happened to him." Sadly, the death of Jelani Day still remains a mystery.